This video will be the even problems on pages 6, 7, and 6, 8. So just a reminder, we are not allowed to have negative exponents. So if you have a negative exponent, you need to move it to the bottom of a fraction. Or if you have a negative exponent on the bottom, it needs to move to the top of the fraction. What you have to be careful of, if you look down here at 1, 2, and 3, is that if there is a number, a coefficient in front being multiplied, that stays on the top. Only the variable that has a negative exponent goes to the bottom. When we have our rules combined, the last thing you want to do is move your negative exponents. So if we look at number 5, first we would multiply 4 and 5 and get 20, and then we add our exponents. So C would be to the third power, and D would be to the negative fourth power. So whenever you end up with a negative exponent, I suggest writing yourself a fraction bar and figuring out what needs to go to the bottom and what stays on the top. So the 20 and the C to the third stay on the top. The D to the fourth would be on the bottom. So when you move it to the bottom, that makes it a positive exponent. Number 7, first look at your A's. Negative 5 plus 7 would give us A to the positive 2. If it helps to cross them off, do that. We would have B to the positive 5 and C to the negative 5. So again, when you're multiplying, you add your exponents. So we have a negative exponent, so draw yourself a fraction bar. The A squared and B to the fifth stay on the top. C to the fifth would go to the bottom and change to a positive. Number 9, 5 to the negative 3. Again, when you type that into your calculator, it's going to give you a decimal, so you need to be able to change that to a fraction. You also can just do 5 to the positive third and get 125, but then you have to remember that goes to the bottom because it's a negative exponent. Then we would have y to the negative 6. So we would have 1 left on the top, 125, y to the positive 6 on the bottom. Number 11, 6 to the negative 2 is 1 over 36. Again, it doesn't make it negative. 6 squared is 36, and then we need to make it 1 over 36. X to the negative 10, y to the positive 8. So again, write your fraction bar. The only thing that's on the top is y to the 8th. You can put a 1 there, but you don't need to, so I would prefer if you did not. 36 and x to the 10th would be on the bottom. 13. Now we're dividing, so remember when we divide, we subtract our exponents. So we would get c to the negative 9th. Negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9. D to the positive first. Negative 1 minus negative 2 is positive 1. Again, you don't need to write a 1, but you can. So we have a negative exponent, so write our fraction bar. The D stays on the top, C to the positive 9 on the bottom. For 15, again, this is a division problem, so you divide your coefficients to get negative 5. Subtract our exponents, m to the negative 1, n to the positive 6. 1 minus negative 5 is positive 6. Most people want to move the negative 5 to the bottom and keep it positive. That does not happen. Your coefficients don't change. So negative 5 and n to the 6th are on the top, and m is on the bottom. For 17, 15 over 18 simplifies to 5 over 6. Your A's cancel out. Again, you would get A to the 0, so those just cancel out. B to the second, C to the negative first. So your final answer is just one big fraction. Your 5 and your B squared are on the top. Your 6 and your C to the first, so just 6C are on the bottom. Number 19. Negative 9 over 54 simplifies to negative 1 over 6. We subtract our exponents to get r to the negative 3, s to the positive 4, and t to the negative 4. So your final answer is one big fraction. Notice it's negative 1/6. You can put the 1 on the top, but you don't need to. Our s to the 4th would stay on the top. Then our 6 is on the bottom, r to the 3rd, and t to the 4th. For 21, first we would think of distributing that exponent. So x to the negative 4, y to the negative 6, times, same thing with this one, x to the negative 15th, y to the negative 12th. Then we add our exponents, x to the negative 19, y to the negative 18. Again, whenever you have negative exponents, write yourself a fraction bar. The x goes to the bottom, the y goes to the bottom. There's nothing left, so then you need to write a 1. (23), one thing at a time. So first you're going to square all those, giving us 9x squared y squared times 2x to the 4th y to the 3rd. So I'm going to do all that first. I would get 18 x to the 6th y to the 5th. So that's just the top. That's over 6x to the 8th y. So 18 over 6 is 3, x to the negative 2, y to the positive 4. So your final answer, the x to the 2 would go to the bottom, 3y to the 4th would stay on the top. And for 25, you're going to multiply to get the top, multiply to get the bottom, and then divide. 6 times 3 is 18. Add to get b to the 6th. Don't forget about the invisible 1. And c to the 5th over 10, b to the 8th, c to the 8th. (18 over 10 simplifies to 9 over 5, b to the negative 2, c to the negative 3. So our final answer, when you have your fraction, the 5, b to the 2nd, and c to the 3rd are all on the bottom. The only thing left on the top is a 9. So again, do your regular exponent properties, and then if you have any negative exponents left, those need to go to the bottom of a fraction.